Okay, so before the video starts, I don't know why my mic was acting all weird. I tried to mitigate it as much as possible, but sorry about that ahead of time. Yeah, let's get to the video. Hey, so Supergirl comes out on June 26th. Hopefully when I am posting this video, it'll be the day that it comes out. Today, I wanted to do a different sort of video where I'm going to actually review the movie and kind of talk about how I feel about the character and stuff. The video will hopefully be timestamped and everything, so if you just want my review, you can kind of just jump straight into that. But yeah, let's just go into it. So, to kind of give a mini brief history, I guess, of my opinions of Supergirl, I think she's a really cool character. I don't really have the biggest knowledge on her or have read a lot of her stuff. I've mostly seen the CW show that was like on in like 2014, I want to say. I know the show is very different from how she actually is in the comics and stuff like that, but the few times I've read Supergirl, I've enjoyed her. I don't have a problem with her. I've also seen like the Superman, Batman, I think it was called like Apocalypse. I've also read the comic of that. I don't have like the best understanding of her, but I do have enough to where I feel like I have an opinion on the character. And I do like her. Think she's cool. Think she's fun. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous for this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Now, this movie was supposed to originally be like a pretty faithful adaptation of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow for my general understanding, but as the movie had evolved and changed over time, they straight up just dropped the Woman of Tomorrow subtitle, so it's just now called Supergirl. So it is still probably going to be heavily based on Woman of Tomorrow, but I did actually read the comic. I liked it. It is written by Tom King, which if you're in the comic book community, some people have problems with Tom King's writing. I personally am not the biggest fan of it, mostly because I don't like how much he relies on narration, at least in the stories that I read. But overall, I did like the comic a lot, and I'd give it like a solid 7-8 out of 10, and I highly recommend it, especially because it is a part of DC's compact editions, which are dirt cheap. They're like $10. Now, here's the thing I'm concerned about. We got early review screenings of Supergirl, and it debuted at a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know it's not an exact number, but that's just kind of like the amount, like the percentage of critics that liked the movie. So about a little over half the critics liked the movie, which is kind of concerning, because I do, unfortunately, tend to somewhat agree with those numbers. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to that rule, where, like, for example, movies like Blue Beetle, I genuinely love Blue Beetle. I genuinely love Captain America: Brave New World. It is the exception, but generally, unfortunately, I do kind of agree with critics. So it does have me kind of worried about Supergirl. I'm still going to go into this movie with an open mind, like I always do, because again, I'm really excited for the DCU. I'm excited for James Gunn's vision, and we're just going to see how it goes. As you can tell, I have actually not seen the movie yet. As I'm recording this part, I'm actually leaving in like an hour to go see the movie. So whenever I come back, which obviously y'all wouldn't notice, but when I come back, you will get a full in-depth review and my opinions on it. So that is something fun to look forward to when we come back, right? So yeah. No, the gun didn't jam. I mean, like, it slightly jammed, but it still shot a shot. I finished the movie like a day or two ago, so honestly, I'm re-recording this bit because I didn't like the way it sounded, one, and two, I kind of didn't have my thoughts in order, so we're redoing it, and I have my thoughts in order now. So, I liked the movie. I wouldn't say I hated the movie. Rating the movie, I would probably give it a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think it is a perfectly fine comic book movie. But I can see why they dropped the Woman of Tomorrow subtitle from this movie. It's not a very faithful adaptation of it. It just kind of has plot points from the book, but kind of does its own thing. And I'm not sure if I love all the things it does, even though, like I had said in one of the earlier segments, I'm not the biggest fan of Tom King, but I can still acknowledge that the book was good, right? Kind of when I first go into my positives, I really liked Millie Alcock as Supergirl, and I think Jason Momoa as Lobo. They were great. I mean, that's kind of what the general consensus is, and I don't really disagree. I really liked the first, I want to say, like, hour of the movie. More really the first two acts. I thought they were really good. It really did a good job at showing that Supergirl is different than Superman. I also liked the connectivity of the DCU already within the second movie. Now, I'm not going to go into too much spoilers. I'm not going to go into any at all. There are characters that appear in this movie more than I thought they would, and I'm very happy that they do. I thought some of the action was pretty good. I liked a lot of the early action in the movie. That's pretty much all I have for positives. For the negatives, yeah, this movie, it doesn't look as pretty as the comic, which I know is something that isn't really fair because they're two separate mediums, right? With comics, you know, art styles and colors, and you can't get that with a movie, and I understand that going in. However, the third act of this movie looks so dull. I think it honestly competes with the Flash movie in terms of like how barren and boring the third act looks visually, but the action was good. There is a needle drop scene in the third act that I thought was kind of bad. The action was cool, but I was not a fan of how it kind of did the needle drop. So yeah, they also do change the ending of this movie, obviously, to be different from Woman of Tomorrow, and I'm not really sure I like the change they did. I can't really go into why, because obviously it's spoilers for both the book and the movie, but they do things slightly different. I'm not very positive on that change, and honestly, I'd be lying if I said the third act didn't like really kill this movie's momentum for me, but I still think overall the movie is really good, and I think you should go watch it to form your own opinion, because like I said, I would personally give it a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10, but you might give it a 10 out of 10, you might give it a 1 out of 10, you might hate Millie as Supergirl, which I would call you crazy for, but you're allowed to have your opinion. So let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this more like freestyle off the dome video rather than me doing like heavily scripted videos, please let me know. I would prefer to do this, honestly. So yeah, that's about it. Peace out. Bye.